Welcome back to 7,000 Volts, Living an Electrified Life. Today our topic is the power of a positive mindset. And today, talking about a positive mindset, I have a special guest today who I know is a personal friend that amplifies a positive mindset. Alexandra Akers, welcome to the show.
Thank you, LJ. I'm so excited to be here.
And I'm very happy that you decided to join us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think positive mindset's a great topic for us, for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, if I had to pick the one person that I know that radiates a positive mindset, it's you, because like you're always full of energy with no coffee. And your energy level is just at a different level. I believe you're in the sales industry.
I am, yes.
And I've been knowing you for more than a few years now, and every time I see you, whether you have a bad day or not, I don't know it.
Yeah.
Because of that high energy, the powerful mindset. So
Yeah.
tell us about where does your positive mindset come from?
You know, I've been really fortunate in my life with just family and friends, and there's not a lot of reason to not have a positive mindset. I think, you know, everything, even trials and tribulations, something good's going to come out of it. You're always growing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really enjoy people. I really enjoy life, and it's kind of where positivity comes. There's just no reason to be not positive. Things, you know.
Share with us, to the listeners and people that's watching this podcast, like your belief and maybe some books that you read to help put back in to maintain this positive mindset that you have.
So lots of self-help books. I enjoy reading about what makes people tick. I really, you know, what makes people happy. And
one of my favorite books is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, From Good to Great by Jim Collins. And it's not just one book, it's a collective of books. And sometimes people think you can pick up a book one time and be like, oh, I read this book and I had this one idea and everything's good.
Yes.
It doesn't work that way.
No.
It's like it's a continuous, consistent basis that you eat this material. It's just like putting food in your body. You can't eat today and be like, oh, I don't have to eat into next year, because your body will get famished and weak.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's same as with the car. You'd be like, oh, I filled it up with gas on Monday, and a month later you're trying to figure out what's wrong because you're out of gas. You'd be like, I don't know what's wrong. It won't crank up.
Right.
Or I changed the oil last year and then the motor blows up in your car and you're trying to figure out what happened. It takes different components in order to live an abundant life.
Yeah, absolutely.
A one of peace and happiness. And I choose to live in peace personally. That's why I continue, like yourself, to read these different books, not just one time. You know, I probably read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill maybe over 100 times, if not more.
Yeah.
Because it's like reading the Bible. You can read a verse in the Bible and get 1,000 different meanings from one scripture, which brings me back to people, they'll ask the question of how do you stay motivated? How do you shake off the negativity of people around you? And it's like one of my verses that I like is 1 Corinthians 15:31. And it says you have to die daily.
Yeah.
You have to. It's like a quarterback throwing an interception. He had to die to that moment he threw the interception, and relive the moments where he made that perfect pass.
Yeah.
And that's what life is.
Yeah, absolutely it is. So you just recommended a book from, I believe it's From Good to Great. So is that one of the books you consistently read?
Yeah, man, that book really, like, when I say changed my whole business at Alspet, it's a really good book because it took, just like Napoleon Hill, the good books takes a while to write. It's not just something they throw together and want to make you a few bucks. This book is intense of research and research, and I remember a part he said in this book about you have to have the right people on the bus. And when you have the right people on the bus don't care where it's going. they just know that they're going to have their peace of mind, and they just fit the mold. And when you got the right people on the bus, it's easy to navigate in business.
Yeah.
Because when you got the wrong people on the bus, it's going to be a rocky road.
Right,
There's going to be a lot of alpha mentality. You're going to have a lot of chiefs and not enough Indians, and things just don't get done.
Yeah.
And so when you read that type of material and you constantly eat that kind of material, you can't help but grow.
Right.
You can't help but smile and have the positive mindset.
I think surrounding yourself with positive people, the correct people in your life, is a massive driving point for being able to stay positive.
You preaching now, girl. You preaching.
Oh, absolutely.
Listen. I'm about to pitch you an A flat on the organ because you preaching. It's a part of that process. Reading the right material. You can't eat Debbie cakes and cake all the time in the morning, breakfast, and it's okay. I love myself a slice of cake, especially on my birthday. But if I ate a lot of cake on a continuous basis, I'm putting the wrong thing in my body, and I don't have the right nutrients, and my body's going to let me know.
Yeah.
And so, just like you take care of yourself, you watch what you eat, especially as you get a little older, because our metabolism slow down, and we have to recognize that stuff, because if we don't, the body won't cooperate.
Right.
And so when people ask, how do you stay so motivated? You're always smiling. I don't get it. It's like, I covered it in my last podcast. I think I covered it. In the process of writing the book, my book is in editing, so I think the editors came back and said, what does seeing life through a tinted stone means? And it's basically you're going to see life differently. I'm not going to get into it because I want everybody to buy my book and you can read it for yourself. But it's a different perspective what you see when you're starting to transition from one stage, one level in life to the next.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just being conscious of that and trying to get yourself to stay on a path of growing. I mean, and books are a huge part of it, and like I said, the people that you surround yourself is a huge part of it, because it's not always easy to take a step back and look at people that aren't necessarily doing anything for your life or adding value to your life, and you want to be one of those people that adds value to everybody else's life as well. And it's not always easy to step away from those people. You don't have to be, angry or mad or anything like that, but it's to stay positive, you need to make sure the people in your life are also positive and are bringing value, and you're bringing value to them as well. I think that's a huge step in being and staying positive.
And where it becomes a challenge for some people, because I'm going to break it down a little further, because sometimes people don't understand what that means, surrounding yourself with positive people. What that means is, whether it's your mom, dad, sister, or brother, I have no respect of person if you come with me with negative energy.
Right.
It's like I have the 3 strike rule. I'm going to try to redirect you. I'm going to try to reroute you. And when I can't, it's time for me to either hang up the phone or, hey, I got to go. I'm going to have to talk to you later.
Right.
Like speaking of my children, I have 5 kids. And my daughter the other day, Olivia, she got a C on a test that she was taking. And you would have thought somebody just stole her lunch money, because she was upset. And she was like, I'm like, for me, when I was in school, a C was a win. I'm like, ooh, I didn't get an F.
Right. That's passing.
So she asked to get extra credit from the teacher, and so she's stayed up half the night working on this extra credit because it was due, so she can bring that C up to a better grade.
Yeah. And
this is what I teach my kids, not to be mediocre. Sometimes people are like, oh, you're too hard on this. Like, listen, your kids, you got to train these kids up in the way they should go. This podcast is to represent, hey, listen, you want to know why I'm successful? I do things a certain way. Yeah. Am I perfect? Absolutely not.
Right.
It's from my mistakes and things that happen from those mistakes, I'm able to grow and learn from them. They say the definition of a sanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. What goes up must come down. Yeah. My editor, Mr. Ryan French, once said to me, if you harness negative energy, you will receive negative results. Yeah. It gets no simpler than that. Yeah. And if you practice it, it's like brushing your teeth. You have a pretty smile, your breath don't stink, they're not yellow, they're more cleaner. And people say, man, people say, you got a pretty smile. Yeah, I work on that smile.
Right.
And you don't get it. Like when you work at something long and hard enough, it changes your outlook on it, and it just becomes a habit.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to be told to do certain things. You just do it as a way of life. Just like if you do things a certain way that produces negative results, you have no problem doing that.
Right. Mindset is such a big portion of being positive as well. Just if you're constantly thinking of a negative outcome, that's what you're going to get. You know,
Absolutely.
If that's the first thing your mind thinks of, oh, I'm going to fail this test, or I'm going to get a D, or I'm going to get a C. It's often true. Like you have to have that positive mindset to create outcomes in your life.
You have to seek consistently to get results, because some of them is natural. See, I have an addiction that I just figured out the other day, and I think we all have these addictions that we just have to admit what addiction that we have. And my addiction is I love my peace. I love being positive. I'm addicted to it.
Yeah.
I'm addicted to positive energy.
Yeah.
Some people are addicted to negative energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some people are addicted to drugs and alcohol. That's just not my vice or my addiction. My addiction is doing right by people. I want for others what I want for myself.
Yeah.
And that's to live in peace.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how do we do that? I try to make decisions what helps me continue to live in peace. I give to people in direct proportion what I want in return. And so I constantly want to live in peace.
Yeah.
So that's my addiction.
Yeah, and I think that comes across so clearly. I mean, just the success you've had with your business. I mean, it is very clear to me, just from mutual friends of ours, mutual customers. People know, people can feel that you are treating them correctly, and that you will do everything in your power to make sure they're treated right and treated fairly. And I think that's a huge reason that you've had so much success with Tucker Enterprises. I mean, I really do think that people can feel if you're a positive or a negative person. And it's very apparent who you're working with, right? Like you come across and I know that you are going to be fair and you are going to do the right thing. And I can tell just based off how proud you are of your work and how positive you are. And I can tell that you want to keep your peace. Absolutely. That's your addiction. But you do things with conviction. I mean, you really do go out, and it relates back to our positive topic today. Just having that mindset, and it radiates positive energy. Just
absolutely. And so I had a customer this week. I went out and gave an estimate, and I normally don't give price on site because I want to make sure that I'm being fair to the customer and I'm being fair to the business as well. Well, my alarms was already off because the guy's like, oh, I don't give out my email address. So I said, okay, no worries. So he wanted a price. I gave him the price. He goes, that's too much. Can you do it for this? That's like, we can take off some of the things that you want because there's no way I can meet you there. Yeah. And he goes, well, I said, well, we can do one at a time, and that way. He goes, no, you have to be able to do it all for this price, or I'm gonna have to just look somewhere else. I extended my hand of fellowship. Hey, sir, I appreciate your time. Have a great day. Yeah. And that's that simple. I didn't get mad. No. And be like, oh, he has a right as a customer to pick and choose what he thinks is fair for him. Yeah. And as a business owner, I have the right to realize if this is profitable and does it make sense to take the risk that we're required to take for what he wanted to pay. Because sometimes people have preconceived ideas and of what something should cost. I don't get upset with them about it. Yeah. I keep it moving. Right. Right. I do between 20 and 30 estimates a week, which is a lot for a small business. And, we try to be fair as possible, but at the same time, we are running a business.
Absolutely. I mean, I mean, you know, I work in equipment service, right? And equipment service is a huge pain point for a lot of people. And oftentimes I'll get calls and people are already jacked. They're expecting the fight, you know, like to come at me about either pricing or they're not super excited with something that happened. And you can just, it's okay. There's solutions to everything, right? You can just handle it well, handle it positively, and we're going to come to a solution here, and that's okay. But yeah, sometimes people come at you with this hostility and just, you know, ready for bear. And I think meeting that with a positive mindset and okay, let's get this done. Let's figure out what the solution is.
Absolutely.
I think is really, I think people appreciate it a lot, and I think it puts people in a more positive place.
Absolutely. So you work at Heave. You know, you work in sales, and for it's phenomenal what you do with the positive energy. In fact, I think this position, because of your positive energy, landed you this position. Tell us more about that. Tell us about Heave.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started at the Caterpillar dealership, and then when Heave approached me, it was an equipment service company. And when they said that, I was like, heck no, I want nothing to do with equipment service. Like, everyone's always mad, everyone's always jacked. And then they kind of explained it to me. You know, it's a on-demand technician app where you essentially, if you've got a machine down, it's throwing a def code or something like that, you go into the app, say, this is where my machine is, it's got a def code, it pings the independent technicians in the area. And I'll tell you, LJ, it has just been a freaking delight to work for this company. It has, I mean, just, I love being a solution provider, and it just makes me happy to take pain points out of people's days, and I'm blessed that this opportunity came up to me.
It's been a blessing for us using Heave because it allows the downtime to be narrowed down to maybe a few hours or just a couple days versus not knocking the dealerships, but you know, one of our bigger trucks can be there for a couple of weeks before they even look at it to tell you what's wrong with it.
Right. Certainly.
And so that Heave has been a godsend for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm just curious. I already know the answer to this. This is for the listeners. So they just found you out of the blue, say, hey, we're going to give you this position. What kind of background do you have? What college did you go to? And so how did you prepare yourself for this opportunity when it presented itself?
Yeah, so like I said, I was working at the cat dealership. Well, first of all, I got my fashion degree from FSU, which is hilarious.
A fashion degree, yes.
And then immediately started working for Rig Power, the cat dealership. And actually, the way that he found me is one of my customers. He was looking for a good sales rep, and I believe there was two of us hired at the same time, but we were the first two to be hired to Heave. And you know, one of my customers had been talking with them, and they were like, hey, we're looking for a good sales rep, and he brought my name up, and they contacted me, which is just the highest compliment to have one of my customers recommend me as a salesperson. But it was a startup, so started in 2021, but really kind of got to where it is in the beginning of 2023, very early stages of 23. And I was working a good job at Ring Power, you know, real solid and going really well. And to bounce to this startup was terrifying. It was so scary.
But you took that leap of faith.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, in my life, I never want to look back and say, what if, you know, like, what if I had done this? And I still love Rig Power. I think it's a great company, but it has just, this opportunity with Heave has just taken off. And by the way, I prayed and prayed about this. So, like, God's got his hand on me for sure.
Yes,
But Heave has just taken off, and it's been just a great solution to a lot of people's issues. And I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be more blessed about it. I mean,
outside of God, who do you credit your sales background to?
Oh, it's my father. You know that. It's Drew Akers. It's my dad.
Mr. Akers.
Oh yeah,
Mr.
absolutely.
Akers.
You know, he's a mess.
Yes.
I love my dad, but so my dad he's always been one of those people that he'll ask you the hard questions. You know, it's not going to be hey, how's your day, or whatever it is. It's, hey, how's your daughter? Did she get that grade up with her extra credit? You know, it's dad is very, very
Matter of fact.
Yeah, matter of fact, and he loves people, and
Yes, he does.
I think a big part of me, you know, I look exactly like my mother. I got no physical attributes of my dad, but I do think that I got kind of that love for people, and I really do genuinely like want to know about your daughter's test, and I want to know about your life and what makes you tick, and why you're positive, or you know, whatever it is. And I think that's been just key to my sales success is you know, I could sell you a gallon of milk, but I really want to know about you.
And I like that. Me too. So I never consider myself as a salesperson, even though I have to wear that hat.
Yeah.
And some of the things I do, people are like, oh no, you got to close. I remember working in sales before. I started my business in sales. They were, oh, you got to be closed. You always got to be closed, and they don't care about the relationship with the person. They just want they're driven by numbers.
Right.
And I'm not like, if you don't need a gallon of milk, I don't want to sell you a gallon of milk.
Exactly.
Because you might drink lactate milk. Let me
at
least make sure I'm getting you the right kind of milk that you need.
Yeah.
And just building that relationship, you know. This is not weird for me, but when it happened to me, I had a customer, they called me, it was about maybe 7 or 8 o'clock at night. They say, I'm sorry to bother you, but my dad is in hospital, and I can tell by your positive energy, you're a man that prays. Can you pray for him? Can you pray with me? Like at this moment, I said, Lord, give me the words to say. And you did, because people want to feel that they matter and they're important.
Yeah.
And it's not about a check. It's not about just getting a person to be like, oh, okay, I just got another sale. You generally, you know, have, hey, let's make sure we're helping each other. You know, I want to give you more in use value than I take from you in cash value.
Yeah.
And that's my model when it comes. And I know those are not my words, what I just said. I read it in some book, and it stuck with me because I said, man, they inside my mind. This is me.
Yeah.
I want to give you more in use value than I take in cash value. And it's invaluable. You can't put a price tag on that.
Right.
When you hear people, when you see something's off, is there anything I can do? You know, most time when I'm show up, I'm there to do a tree, and I wind up inside the house changing a light bulb or putting a screw something in for an elderly person that they didn't know how they was going to get it done.
Yeah.
In my industry, it's funny when I see all the disclaimer that people put out. It's like, oh, we're not responsible if this gets broke in your line, if the sprinkler gets broke. I'm like, why not?
Right.
Like me, I'm not leaving this elderly customer or any customer with a broken pipe that they got to try to figure out how they're going to get fixed. Even though, yeah, you can't help Mother Nature and those roots are going to damage something, I want to fix it. Like point blank, when you come home, hey, the water line got broken, but it's already been taken care of.
Yeah.
That's how simple that was.
Yeah.
Why? Because I'm more resourceful. And somebody could be at work and they don't have the first clue who to call.
Right.
And they could be showing up home with no water, or no power or something.
Yeah.
Because of work that was being done in the property.
Right.
So I always want to make that right. It's not pass the buck because I don't want to deal with it. Do I want to deal with it? No. I want to move to the next job and move on so we can get something. But the most important thing is the job that I'm on. Yeah. And whether it's my fault or not, I want to make it right. Yeah. Period. Like if a window get broken, the window ain't even broke all the way. I'm on the phone. Hey, this first job we went out, the front window got broke. Put the glass people on it. That's how simple that. Right. You don't need to know why the pictures will be coming in a few minutes. The glass still in the middle of being broke. Yeah. Right. Exactly. It's like you got to have a solution. And so, hey, listen, and then you call the customer. Hey, this window got broke. The window guy's going to be here in 30 minutes, and he'll have that fixed. Right. If he can't have it fixed, it's because they don't have that glass in stock, and we'll board it and tape that window up, and they'll be out the next day or so. But it depends. Every situation is different, but you have to be willing to make it right.
Well, I think it translates really well, obviously, in your business. People know. People can feel that. I mean, you are proud of your work. You're proud of what you do, as am I. And I, like yourself, I refuse to not be a solutions provider. We enjoy that, right? We enjoy being a solutions provider, whether that be a window or ride to the gas station if you're down on the side of the road, you know, whatever it is. I always enjoy bringing value to people, and
Yes.
I think that's a big, I mean, it goes back to positivity, right? I mean, just what can I do for you today, you know?
You have givers in this world. Sadly, but you have givers and takers. Yeah, some people just want to take. They want to take much as they can,
Right.
and not add back.
Yeah.
It's just like we was talking about the auto mill. You can put gas in a vehicle, but you don't put oil.
Yeah.
Then you have a problem.
Yeah.
You can put gas and oil in the vehicle, and don't have a fuse, and the fuse goes out. The engine might not start because of depends on what type of fuse it is. You can have all the fuse working, and the oil is changed, and the gas is in there, and the water's in the radiator, and you can be missing something as simple as spark plugs hasn't been changed.
Right.
So now you're driving on one cylinder instead of all 6 or 4,
Right.
or 4 to 6 to 8, depends on what type of vehicle you have. There's different components to having a positive mindset.
So let me ask you this. I'm sure you've come across people that are negative in your life. How long do you keep those people? How many chances do you give them? And how do you gracefully step away from them?
I have a favorite saying, is that when I deal with negative people, I have my first saying, if I'm talking to them on the phone or if I'm talking to them in person, I'm gonna use sports as an analogy. So I have a 3 strike rule. Because in my mind I'm saying strike 1, and then and I will redirect. And then strike 2, because a negative person, they're not gonna stop.
No.
Again, whether it's your best friend, mama, sister, brother, or dad, strike 2, and on strike 3, I'm moving on. And then if it becomes apparent that this person, there's nothing I can do to help this person, I start feeding them what we call the long handle spoon. So what does it mean? Listen, I'm not answering the calls. I had a cousin, I still have a cousin. It's not that she went away, and I ain't gonna mention her name. She could be watching this podcast. and so it's nothing against her. That's just your mindset. It's like, why you don't be answering my phone? I'm like, number one, if you call me at 11, between 9 and 6, you know I'm working. So don't call me and ask me what I'm doing. I'm working.
Yeah.
Number 2, you always got a bad report. Ain't that much negativity in the world. And I'll say these things to them straight up. I said, you need to get into some positive stuff to change your outlook, because it's not that much bad luck in the world.
Right.
Like, well, you just don't. It's like, if I have a medical issue, the only person who's going to know about it is Adele. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not telling my mom. I'm not telling anybody. Because, number one, they have a HIPAA law against it. Ain't none of their business.
Right.
Number 2, if you love me like you say you love me anyway, you're already praying for me. You don't need another reason to pray for me. Because I don't want to put my problems on people.
Yeah.
But you have people that don't think that way.
Right.
They'll tell you the first thing, oh, I went to the doctor today and they said this. Like, man, I don't, like, you want to help, but don't, the work I do is very dangerous and it's high risk. So the last thing I need to know is that especially during the middle of my day, whatever your diagnosis might have been, like, some people don't think about it because they want sympathy all the time.
Yeah.
And instead of using the positive healing power they have within, because the more you talk about something, the more it grows. The less you talk about something, you're suffocating it.
Yeah.
So I remember Joel Osteen, he preaches about this all the time, how in the early 80s that they told his mom she had cancer and she had like 2 months to live. It's like 40 years ago, to my knowledge, this lady's still living.
Really?
Because of a positive mindset. She refused to believe the report that they gave. And I really believe that with every fiber of my being, that your positive mindset has healing power. And it can take you to a level beyond your wildest imagination. Just believing just the small things. It's nothing big.
Yeah.
It's just simple, small, and direct. It's an addiction.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll tell you, manifestation is huge. I mean, just if you're looking at your life going, oh, I have cancer, I'm gonna get sick, I'm gonna pass, whatever it is. it's incredible what tends to happen. And if you have that positive mindset, I mean, miracles happen all the time.
Absolutely. And it can't be said any better. The power of a powerful mindset. I appreciate your time.
Of course, LJ.
Thank you for being on the show. I appreciate your insight. I appreciate your positive energy.
Of course.
Never lose that
Thank
power,
you.
that positive energy. It is absolutely great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for watching this show. Remember, you can visit us at ljtucker.com. Don't forget, my book is coming out pretty soon. You can pre-register on the website. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Have a great day. I appreciate your time.